I was tightening the straps on my daughter's little pink sandals when she winced and whispered, "Mommy." Something poked me. Her name is Harper, my 6-year-old baby with wide brown eyes and the softest voice, the kind of kid who says thank you to vending machines. We were standing in my parents' backyard because they insisted on having a family brunch for my sister Jules, who, apparently, needed emotional support after breaking a nail at her modeling tryout. They had practically dragged me here with the same guilt they used my entire life. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. My mom, Denise, a 64-year-old woman who never went anywhere without her pearls and judgment, stood on the patio complaining because Harper's dress looked cheap. My dad, Ray, a 66-year-old man who believed raising daughters meant making them tougher, sat with his arms crossed, waiting for a reason to bark. I lifted Harper onto my hip and walked toward the patio, but she let out a sudden, sharp scream, a sound that ripped through my chest. She grabbed her ankle. I dropped to my knees instantly. There was a swelling red mark on her skin, pulsing like it was angry. "Please, Mommy, it hurts," she cried, breath trembling. I knew that sound, a bee sting, her first one. And she was terrified. I scooped her up and sprinted toward the back door. "Let me inside," I said, pushing lightly against my mom's shoulder. "I need to wash this and get her ice." Mom didn't move. She simply looked at me like I was asking for charity. "What now?" She sighed dramatically. "It's just a sting. Kids these days are so soft." Harper whimpered into my shirt. "I'm scared." I tried again, louder. "Mom, she's 6. Please move." My dad stepped between us, blocking the door entirely. He held up one hand, palm out, like I was a beggar. "No," he said. "Let her cry it out. Builds character." My stomach flipped. "What are you talking about? She needs to be inside." "She needs to stop whining," he snapped. Harper screamed again as her ankle throbbed. I pressed her against my chest and reached for the doorknob behind my dad, but he grabbed my wrist. "No inside," he said coldly. "Let nature fix her attitude." For a second, I thought I misheard him. "Are you insane?" I whispered. "She's in pain." Mom chimed in from the patio, arms folded, sunglasses on like she was at a country club instead of watching her granddaughter suffer. "Maybe if you raised her with some discipline, she wouldn't act like a dramatic little brat." Harper's whole tiny body shook against me. She wasn't dramatic. She wasn't a brat. She was a 6-year-old with a bee sting and a fear of pain. "Please, please let me go inside," I begged, voice cracking. "She's burning up. Look at her face." Jules walked over then, flipping her perfect hair, her 27-year-old self smirking like she'd won something. "Oh my God," she laughed. "It's literally a bee sting. Does she want a trophy for surviving the outside?" Harper cried harder. "Stop!" I felt something in me snap. I pushed past all of them again, and again they blocked me. My dad actually held the door shut with his shoulder. "Ray." "No!" he barked. "She stays out here until she stops screaming. She needs to learn she's not special." I froze. "That's your granddaughter," I whispered. He shrugged. "Not my problem if you raised a coward." A coward. That word hit Harper like a knife. I felt her flinch. I pulled her tighter. "It's okay, baby. Mommy's here. I'm right here." But it wasn't okay. Her ankle was swelling fast. Her breathing was speeding up. Her sobs were shaking her whole body. I tried one more time, voice breaking. "She could be allergic. I'm not joking, Dad. Let me through." He rolled his eyes. "If she passes out, maybe she'll learn to be quiet." I swear the world stopped moving for a heartbeat. "You're monsters," I breathed. Mom's voice sliced through the air. "No, honey, we're just not raising another weak generation. You coddled her into this. Now let her stay outside with the bees until she figures out she's not a princess." Harper whispered. "Mommy, it's hot. My leg hurts." The backyard felt like a prison. The door was the gate. My parents were the guards. "You should thank us," Jules added. "We're doing you a favor. You're too soft. She's too soft. This is good for her. I stood there holding my baby in the sun while the 3 people who claimed to be family watched her suffer like it was entertainment. Harper cried until her voice cracked, and when she finally slumped her head on my shoulder, exhausted, something inside me twisted into a shape I had never felt before. Not sadness, not fear. Resolve. Cold, sharp, undeniable resolve. I didn't argue again. I didn't shout again. I didn't ask again. I turned around, walked through the yard, climbed over the side fence with Harper in my arms, and left without a single look back. My parents didn't know it yet, but that moment, that exact second they locked their 6-year-old granddaughter outside to teach her a lesson, was the last time they would ever see us again, and they would soon understand what losing us really meant, because I wasn't just leaving, I was done. Forever. Harper was still shaking in my arms by the time I reached the car parked a block away. Her little fingers clutched my shirt like she was afraid I'd disappear too. "I'm sorry, Mommy. I wasn't trying to be bad," she whispered through her sobs. My heart cracked straight down the center. "No, baby. You didn't do anything wrong. Not one thing. You were the one hurt. They were the ones wrong." She nodded weakly but kept crying, rubbing her swollen ankle. I drove straight to the urgent care clinic, barely breathing until the doctor said she wasn't allergic. Just frightened, in pain, overheated, and overstimulated. A 6-year-old, a baby, and my parents thought it was teaching a lesson. While the doctor cleaned the sting, Harper whimpered, "Please don't let Grandma lock me out again." I kissed her forehead. "I'll never let anyone hurt you like that again. Ever." But as soon as I said it, my phone buzzed. Then again. And again. "Mom, stop acting dramatic and get back here. Jules is opening gifts. Dad, if you can't teach your kid discipline, don't come around. Mom, and don't bring her inside until she stops being emotional." I stared at the screen, feeling a heat crawl up my spine. They didn't even ask if she was okay. Not once. Not a single question about her pain, her fear, her swelling. To them, she wasn't a child. She was an inconvenience. Harper fell asleep holding my hand, still hiccuping softly from the crying. I sat in that clinic chair staring at the floor, letting the anger settle in my bones like concrete. When she woke up, she whispered, "Can we go home now?" "Yeah," I said, brushing her hair gently. "We're going home, but not the old home." She blinked. "What do you mean?" I didn't answer her yet. The next 2 days were quiet, peaceful, just me and my daughter and the soft hum of cartoons in the background. Then the doorbell rang. I opened it to find my parents standing on the porch like they owned the world. Jules stood behind them holding an iced latte like she was waiting for a cab. Dad shoved his way forward first. "Where's the girl?" Not, "How is she?" Not, "Is she all right?" Just that tone, like she was livestock he misplaced. "She's resting," I said coldly. Mom pushed past him, staring into my apartment like she was inspecting a trash can. "Well, are you done with your tantrum? Bring her out so we can talk." I didn't move. I didn't even breathe. "What do you want?" I asked. Dad scoffed. "You owe us an apology." My nails dug into my palm. "For what?" I asked quietly. "For disrespecting us in our own home," he snapped. "You embarrassed Jules. You ruined brunch. And you're teaching that kid to be a coward." Jules rolled her eyes dramatically. "You're so unstable, Morgan. It was a sting, not a murder attempt. You're raising her like a porcelain doll." Mom added, "And honestly, if she screams like that over a bee, maybe she does need more time outside." I stepped outside, closing the door behind me so Harper wouldn't hear. "You locked my 6-year-old daughter outside while she was hurt and terrified," I said. "You kept her from getting medical help. You mocked her. You mocked me." Mom gave a dismissive little shrug. "Oh, please, she'll survive. Kids are supposed to learn." Dad jabbed a finger toward my face. "You're lucky we even bother trying to help you. Parent. God knows someone needs to." I had spent years swallowing things like that. Years letting them call me dramatic, weak, overreacting. Years being told motherhood was a test I was failing. But this time, something shifted inside me, something cold, steady, unbreakable. "You're not seeing her again," I said. Jules actually laughed. "Oh my God, stop. You're not that bold. Who else do you have? Nobody even tolerates you except us." Dad smirked. "You can't cut us off. We're the only family you've got." But that sentence, that smug belief that they owned me, finally made everything clear. They never loved me. They never respected me. They tolerated me because they were certain I'd never leave. This time, they were wrong. "Goodbye," I said simply. Mom gasped. "Don't be stupid." "Goodbye," I repeated. Dad lunged forward as if he could intimidate me back into obedience. "You walk away now," he snarled, "and don't come back running when she needs something." I stepped back inside and shut the door. Their voices exploded outside, pounding, yelling, threatening. Harper peeked from the hallway, wide-eyed. "Mommy?" "It's okay, baby," I said softly, kneeling down. "No more yelling. No more being scared. No more them." She hesitated. "We're not going back to Grandpa's house?" I shook my head. "Never. That chapter is done." But I knew them. They weren't going to disappear quietly. They weren't going to accept losing control. And I was done being passive. Done being quiet. Done letting them decide who I was and how my child should suffer. They wanted to play cruel? I wasn't finished, because what they did wasn't just bad parenting. It was dangerous. And I was ready to prove it. 3 days after I shut the door in their faces, the calls started. Unknown numbers, blocked IDs, voicemails full of yelling, threats, guilt trips, and my mother's signature fake crying. I ignored everyone. But I wasn't just sitting quietly. While Harper colored at the kitchen table, humming softly, I was at my laptop gathering everything I needed. Every text, every voicemail, every screenshot, every picture of Harper's swollen ankle, every message from neighbors who saw them shove her outside while she cried. For years, I never documented anything. This time, I documented everything. Because my parents thought they were untouchable. They thought because they were elders, they could do anything and get away with it. But locking a 6-year-old outside during a medical emergency wasn't teaching. It was neglect. And I had proof. On the 4th day, I got a message from my dad. "Dad, bring the kid on Sunday. We're not discussing this anymore. We are family. You obey." That was all I needed. I sent one text message back. "Me. Perfect. I'll see you Sunday. Be ready." He replied with a thumbs-up emoji. He genuinely thought I was crawling back. I wasn't. Sunday came. I dropped Harper off with my best friend Claire, someone who actually loved her, someone safe. Then I drove to my parents' house. They opened the door like they were royalty receiving a servant. Mom crossed her arms. "So you finally came to your senses?" Dad smirked. "You brought the girl?" "No," I said. Jules rolled her eyes. "Oh God, here we go." I held up my phone. Silence. "You want to talk? Let's talk inside." They all followed me into the living room, still confident, still arrogant. Dad spoke first. "You're going to apologize, Morgan. Then you're going to stop acting like we abused her." I set my bag on the table and pulled out a stack of printed papers. I spread them across the coffee table. Photos, screenshots, timestamps. Mom froze. What is this?" "Evidence," I said. "Everything from that day, everything before it. Texts, photos, witnesses." Dad's face darkened. "You think you can threaten us?" "No," I said calmly. "I'm not threatening you. I already filed a report." Mom's jaw dropped. "A what?" "I reported both of you," I said. "And Jules." Jules shot up. "You what?" "Child endangerment," I continued. "Neglect, emotional abuse, failure to seek medical care, unlawful confinement of a minor." Dad nearly choked. "You called the police on your own family?" "You locked a 6-year-old outside while she was injured and crying for help," I said. "You're lucky I didn't call sooner." Mom started shaking. "You can't do this. They'll come after us. They'll put us on some list." "They already knocked on your door this morning," I said quietly. "They'll be back after reviewing all the evidence." Dad stepped forward, face red, breath shaking. You're evil." "No," I said. "I'm a mother. That's the difference." Mom collapsed onto the couch, hands in her hair. Jules kept pacing, muttering, oh my God, my job, my reputation. What did you do?" I wasn't done. I pulled out one more envelope and placed it on the table. "What is that?" Dad asked, voice cracking. "Notice of no contact," I said. "My lawyer drafted it. You're not allowed near me or Harper. Any attempt to contact us will go straight to the officer handling your case." Mom let out a screech. "You can't take our granddaughter from us." "You threw her outside like garbage," I said. "You lost her the second you turned that lock." Dad lunged for the papers like he could snatch the evidence and make it disappear, but I stepped back before he touched anything. "I have digital copies," I said, "and everything is already uploaded to the case file." Jules sank to the floor. "You ruined everything." "No," I said. "You ruined everything the moment you all treated a child like a burden." I picked up my bag. I opened the door. Before stepping out, I said one last thing. "You wanted her to learn a lesson. Now it's your turn." Their begging started immediately. "Morgan, please. We can fix this. Don't do this. She's our blood. We'll change. Please, don't take her away." I didn't look back. I walked out into the sunlight, breathing clean air for the first time in years. I didn't just protect Harper. I didn't just stand up for myself. I ended the cycle. That day was the last time they ever saw me. The last time they saw Harper. The last time they controlled anything in my life. And the first day my daughter learned the truth. Family isn't who you're born to. It's who doesn't lock you outside when you're hurting. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.